Hey, y'all.
Hola, welcome to 30 Minutes Down South. She's Allison.
And he's Carlos, and we are two top producing realtors.
With two extremely different Southern upbringings.
Join us each week as we explore the Lake Murray area with our special guests.
Welcome, Allison. Episode number 36.
36, yes.
Yeah. So we have a very interesting episode today because it's a subject that I have zero knowledge of. Well, I wouldn't say zero, but 0.5.
You have a tiny bit of knowledge and zero experience.
Definitely zero experience. And not because I have anything against that, just because I do not like needles.
So today we're going to have Lindsey Miller. She is a nurse practitioner who is with a company that is really cool. They're actually a concierge service for aesthetics. So
when you say concierge, that means that
they'll come to your house to do any type of, she'll tell us more, but aesthetics procedures they provide, for example, Botox and fillers and skincare and all that good stuff that ladies my age are obsessed with because we're trying to stop the time hands from spinning rapidly.
You mean the 25-year-olds?
Yeah. Hadn't seen that number in a while.
So she'll be like one of those nurses that come, how do they call it? The Botox parties?
Botox parties, yes.
So they have a bunch of people getting ready to get that, and then she comes in with her needles, and everybody's super excited.
Yeah.
Like, yeah!
Everybody's really excited until she shoots them up with the Botox and freezes their face.
Have you done that? You've done Botox, right? Does it hurt?
I'm not a fan of needles, and I think it hurts. I mean, some people are like, oh, I can't feel it. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're sticking needles in your face.
Yeah. How many needles do you do?
I don't know. I don't count.
Where do you do them, Allison?
I
You do it
just
in your
close
forehead?
my eyes and pray that it's over quickly.
Pray that it's over quickly. I'm pretty sure God is just like, oh yeah, she's praying for this.
Yes, he really cares about that.
Let me drop everything that I'm doing here with all the wars and all the problems, and then just
I get it right here.
focus on your
So
Botox.
that I'm not like frowning so much at you.
So you have it here in the in between your eyes.
Yes.
That doesn't look weird at all.
And then I get some across here.
Now that I'm paying attention, you're like, yeah, you don't have the wrinkles that normal people do.
And then I get a little here and a little here for my crow's feet.
So that basically is for you. When you go and make the decision to do that.
Oh, absolutely, it's for me.
99%.
David was against it. He was like, "You don't need it. I wouldn't spend money on that."
Yeah.
But it's totally for me. It's a very vain thing for sure.
Well, I understand the part that it's not, I wouldn't say vain, but if you feel good about yourself, you project that good feeling towards the people.
Well, I mean, I kind of look at it like if you're spending money on a gym to go work out, or
Correct.
you're spending more money on good nutrition to keep a, more fit body, you're not doing that for other people. You're doing it because it feels better for you. And, you have more self-confidence and you feel good about yourself. So, I mean, I look at it like that.
Yeah, and I feel like most people will not notice unless you overdo it.
Absolutely. The first time I had it done, one of our old admins, I came in after about a week and she goes, did you get your face done? And I was like, yeah, how'd you know? She goes, because you look really surprised. Because my eyebrows were like up here. So we had to tweak a few things.
I think it would be great if you can do a bunch of that stuff and just go to one of those poker tournaments. So you have no movements on your face and they can't tell, if you're bluffing.
You could totally do that.
Yeah. How about this?
You should try it out.
Listen, I don't know. My biggest thing is the needles, though.
Well, let's see what Lindsey has to say about them. Maybe they're not that bad.
Lindsey. And welcome, Lindsey Miller. How you doing today, Lindsey?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Lindsey, thanks so much for coming on today. So this is probably a subject that I am much more interested in than Carlos.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you guys talk. I'll be sitting here just listening and
Might
learning.
get some good information.
Learning.
But
Exactly.
yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, for those who do not know you in the Chapin area.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm Lindsey Miller. I'm a nurse practitioner. I've been a nurse practitioner for almost 10 years. I primarily work in family practice. I decided to step into aesthetics about 2 years ago. So I joined on with the company, The Skin Click. We are concierge aesthetics based out of Charleston.
Okay. So that's very interesting. Normally you would go to brick and mortar for aesthetics. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we offer neuromodulators like Botox, Dysport, Xeomin. We also offer derma fillers and skincare. So what sets us apart from other aesthetics groups is that we come to you. I come to your house, your business, your salon, your boutique, really wherever, to provide aesthetics treatment.
Okay, so do you have to have a certain amount of people for you to come, or do you also do one-on-one consults?
Yeah, I'll say the majority of my visits are one-on-one, popping in, busy mom, need a quick treatment, don't want to worry about child care. So a lot of times it's fun, but some ladies like to get together and have a little party with it. So we'll do group events as well.
All right. For those who don't know much about the services you provide, what exactly, you name around 4 or 5 different services. Could you give us a little quick description of each one? And how about this? Give me some time because I'm going to have questions regarding each one of them.
Okay, so neuromodulators, also called neurotoxins, that is your Botox. Everyone's pretty familiar with Botox. It's the first neuromodulator that came to market for cosmetic use back in the 1980s. Since Botox was approved, others have come along, and those are Dysport, Jevu, and Xeomin. The 3 that we use are Dysport, Xeomin, and Botox.
So Botox is the name. It's like saying tomato paste, ketchup. Botox is the name for the neuromodulator. And what it does, my understanding that what that does is like puts some of those nerves to sleep or ties them up so your face changes. Is that how it works? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I gotta say, I'm an ignorant in this subject.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So it targets certain receptors that basically tighten and reduce movement of the muscles in the face, which then results in decreased wrinkles and lines, giving you a very more like youthful appearance.
Okay.
So.
One of the biggest questions I always had with Botox is how do you know it's too much? You'll see people and they're laughing, they're sad, they're angry,
they all look the same.
Yeah, it looks like a poker face. So for you as an expert, when do you know? Do you like give it a try at first and see how? Because I am assuming that everybody responds different to.
Yeah, exactly. So there is standard dosing per the FDA for the areas that you're targeting. So say you're 11s, the standard dosing is 20 units. So you usually want to start at 20 units. But again, everyone is different. If someone doesn't have as much deep lines or as much movement, they may need a little bit less. So it's really patient specific on what their anatomy is, what their goals are, and what they want. Some people like that frozen, completely frozen look. Some people want a little bit more natural movement. So you can tweak the dosing based on the individual.
And how do you know, because there are, as you said, multiple options now, it used to be just Botox. How do you know which one is best personally? If I were to come to you, how do I know which of the 3 to choose?
Well, they are very similar in a lot of ways, but there is some differences. So Botox and Dysport contain a binding protein that salmon lacks. Therefore, salmon's considered a bit more natural and leaves a little bit more natural movement. So those who prefer to be a little bit more natural with more movement, salmon would be the best for them. Those who want to be a bit more frozen and stiff, Dysport and Botox would probably be better for them. Now, research is starting to show that people are developing antibodies to that binding protein that are in these other two products, meaning that over time, people are becoming less reactive to it, so it's less effective and not lasting as long. So, which won't happen with the salmon because it doesn't have that protein. So salmon is really starting to make a name for itself in the industry. Botox is kind of being phased out. We're actually going to stop using the product Botox at the Skin Click because it's kind of like grandma's Botox now. You know, there's just better options on the market.
Okay. So should you switch back and forth if you prefer to have the, as I told Carlos earlier, when I have it, I don't get in as much trouble because I don't have as many expressions on my face constantly. So is it better to kind of switch back and forth so that you don't build up that tolerance?
Yep, that would be an option to switch back and forth. Some of my patients like for me to use a little bit of all of them throughout, depending. So like I could put Botox in your 11s and I could treat your crow's with Dysport. So sometimes I'll have patients that will just mix it up.
And that's used only on the face, or are there other body parts that you put the Botox on?
Yep, so Botox itself is approved for other medical treatments. It can be used under the arms for excessive sweating. It can be used in the bladder for urinary symptoms. There's a lot of other things that it can be used for medically. But as for aesthetics, we just really focus on the face. So.
Gotcha. What are the other services that you provide besides Botox?
So we do derma fillers. So
what is that?
Fillers. Yep. So that's the product is hyaluronic acid, which adds volume to areas where volume's lost. So we can kind of rebuild the face, getting rid of wrinkles and lines.
Is that the one that they use on the lips?
Yep. Lip filler. Yep. That gives you a definitely more plump lip, fuller lip appearance. And hydration.
We had an in-depth conversation before we got on with you about lip filler. And there were multiple people in this conversation. And as we were discussing who our next guest was going to be, and tell me if this is true or a misconception that if you get lip filler and then you stop, your lips will become more deflated than they were prior to getting the filler.
I would say that's definitely a myth. Yeah, I've never heard that before. It will just metabolize and dissolve over time. Lip filler lasts a lot longer than the neurotoxins do. It can last from 12 to 24 months.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, sometimes even longer. And sometimes it actually needs to be dissolved to fully get rid of it. There's a product that we can inject to dissolve it to get rid of it.
So Botox lasts the same? Yeah. Botox can last 12 to 24 months?
No, we wish.
No, Botox, yeah, we wish. Yeah, no, that product, the neuromodulators last about 3.5 to 4 months.
Okay.
The derma fillers can last much longer than that. Will last much longer than that.
Lindsey, what's the ratio between men and women getting that, calling you and say, I need a retouch or something? Because I believe there are men doing that too, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, I would say it's probably for my practice, probably 85%, 15%. So 85% female and 15% male, which I'm getting more and more male patients reaching out.
What's the average age?
Average age that's interesting. My youngest, 25, oldest, 60s.
25 years old.
Yeah,
wow.
So it can be used as preventative treatment as well, starting mid to late 20s. If we start treating the areas that are starting to show movement and lines, it should help to prevent deeper wrinkles from forming later in life.
That makes sense, I guess.
So we have the neuromodulator, the thermofillers. What else you got?
I think I failed to mention chemical peels. We offer a chemical peel, which helps to get rid of old skin, dead skin, and generate new growth, fresh, younger looking skin. So chemical peels, and then just medical grade skincare.
So do the chemical peels come with downtime?
Yes, ours does come with downtime because once it kicks in, you'll start to have some flaking of the skin, that new growth resurfacing, which can cause like really bad sunburn. So we really don't use these chemical peels during the spring and summer. Our peel season is fall and winter for that reason. But yeah, about 5 to 7 days of downtime.
Okay.
And can you apply everything together? Let's say, can I call you and say, Lindsey, I just want you to bring all your stuff and
the full arsenal,
the full thing, and just like make me look younger.
Absolutely, definitely. I can do a peel, Botox, and filler all in the same day.
What's the range on pricing?
So for our pricing for the neuromodulators, it ranges $11 to $14 depending on if it's individual or group pricing. Each company, each maker has their own patient like reimbursement or a program to get money off. So there is potential for savings. The derma fillers will start at $700 a syringe.
And usually, so if somebody was interested in doing, say, the lip filler, how many syringes would that take?
Typically one.
Okay.
Yeah, usually just one. So.
And the Botox, the one that are $11 and $14, how many do you need? Yeah, in average?
Average, if you're treating just forehead, about 30 units, depending. But again, everyone's different.
30 what?
Units.
30 needles in there?
No, not 30 injection points, just 30 units. So.
Okay.
Are you afraid of needles, Carlos?
You know
Maybe that's why he hasn't called you.
I am. That's one thing that I don't play around with. You know, it's messed me up. Needles mess me up. I can see a cut, and I'll tell you a story later, but needles are definitely my Achilles heel. Right.
It's not too bad. Not too bad. They're little. They're tiny.
Yeah.
So, Lindsey, what skincare line do y'all market and prefer?
Yep. So we have Zio Skin Care or Zio Skin Health with Abaji.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat
we have
that?
Skin Better. Dr. Abaji's Zio Skin Care. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Abaji.
So I use mainly Abaji products, but I've never heard of the Zio skincare. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yep. So that just includes like washes, exfoliators, toners, retinol creams.
Okay. So it's just a different line of theirs, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all from Dr. Abaji. And then we have Skin Better. We use Epionce, which is more of a botanical line. And then Color Science for a lot of our tinted SPFs.
Okay. So while we're talking about skincare, I have to ask, have you heard about the new, maybe it's not new, I think it was a TikTok thing that's now gone crazy. I've seen it at Ulta, Amazon.
Here we go.
The snail, it's like the snail mucus that people are putting on their face.
I have not heard of this yet.
I will have to send it to you. It's like... It's supposed to be almost
mucus, Allison?
Yes, like the snail trails. Well, like they bottled up that stuff and they're selling it, and people are putting it on their faces, serums, and supposedly it's great. I have not hopped on that bandwagon yet.
I would love for you to try that. I'm actually going to research on that and bring a bunch of mucus and put it on your face because we need to do that. Actually, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to get it, and we're going to see Allison covering snail mucus.
It was a Black Friday deal. I almost bit the bullet, but I thought, I think I'll pass.
And then, Lindsey, we're going to have to call you to fix the mucus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just call me. I'll help you. Yeah.
Talking about calling you, well, one question first. Do you do like a first time, say, consultation and with people look at their faces and say, hey, you're going to need this, and that?
Yeah, I do offer that. I can do like a FaceTime, like a video call.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have patients send me kind of pictures with making certain expressions and kind of get an idea of what they may need. We do skincare consults as well.
Awesome. And does it happen to you that, you know, now that you know all this stuff and you've seen the before and after, let's say that you get an old friend, you bump into her in the supermarket and you're like, damn, man, you need a couple of these.
It's hard not to.
It'd be hard not to, for sure.
It's hard not to. Even my own husband, like, if I can just pin him down, if I could hit a couple of his crows in his forehead, but he will not let me. But yeah, it's really hard not to.
Have you ever tried? Have you ever tried to do that while he sleeps?
Not yet, but I've thought about it.
Yeah, I'd be scared sleeping next to you. Stay away. By the way, your husband is a great guy, Glenn Miller, and you guys are working also on the tree farm and Lakewood tree farm, and you know, we had an episode not too long ago about it, and it was great. It was really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, that we appreciate y'all's time, and the tree farm has been.
All right, we're having a little bit of an issue here. Okay, can you repeat that last one? Sorry, you just broke up.
Yeah, I just said we appreciate y'all's time, and the tree farm has been a great success thus far.
Awesome. Lindsey, how
awesome.
people can find you?
So I have an Instagram page. It's lindsey.miller.np. You can reach out to me there. You can also find me on the Skin Click website. So if you just go to theskinclick.com, you can look for locations, which my location would be Chapin. And then you would find me interested.
Okay, that is SkinClick, CLICK.com, correct?
QUE.
QUE. CLIQUE.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Anything else you want to ask, Allison? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to share with us?
Are we missing a service?
Y'all ask great questions. I appreciate your time. Again, I think what really sets us apart is that we're concierge aesthetics, you know, basically house calls, super convenient, you know, don't worry about babysitter, time from work. Definitely. Oh, and to add, we are based out of Charleston, but we have over 250 providers with us, and we're all across the nation. So we have SkinClick providers in Washington State, New York, Texas, Tennessee. So it's a really interesting concept.
So that's why you are in your car, right? That's your office.
Yes, that's why I'm in my car. Let me sit in the traffic for you, so you don't have to.
Hey, that's a great selling point right there.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsey. We appreciate your time and all the information. And I can tell I know a little bit more about skincare and Botox and all neuro...
Fillers.
No. That's a term of fillers. See? Now I know more than you.
I just go,
well, when you're ready for your treatment, Carlos, you just call me when you're ready for your treatment. I'll be happy to help.
I will. Just give me a couple more years, you know, to get a little bit used to needles. But I will. Yeah, why not, right?
That's right. Well, thank you, Lindsey. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Boom. So now you know, if you want to maybe get a facelift, or is that the right way to call it?
No, a facelift involves like scalpels and...
Oh, that's way more complicated. Yeah. So
sutures
how do you call it? If you want to just like a rejuvenation?
Yes. Yeah.
Rejuvenation session on your face?
Something like that.
Yeah,
if you want to just feel better about yourself.
Do not use mucus from snails.
I'm telling you, it is. Look it up. It's a legit thing.
Allison, I'm gonna make a promise. I'm gonna go online. I'm gonna buy a bunch, and I'm gonna make you put it in front of the camera.
I bet some of our listeners who are ladies have tried it. Maybe you could give it a whirl since you won't put needles in your face. You could just try rubbing the snail mucus on and see if it helps.
I don't think I need it. I think people like my wrinkles. Now, that's a huge industry.
It is a huge industry. And, I think what she has going is really cool. You know, the fact that she's doing house calls and is only she has a niche, you know, she's not trying to cover every, the whole scope of cosmetic aesthetics, I guess. But just doing the few things that most women commit a set budget every year to. And you know, like she said, she's really catering to the moms. You don't have to get childcare. You don't have to make an appointment where you have to leave your home, sit in traffic. Like, she's making it super, super easy.
Yeah, that part is great, you know. One thing that I was a little bit surprised when she mentioned it was the age, that she will have people 25-year-old. I mean, do you have any wrinkles at all when you're 25? Or that's not just for wrinkles, right? No, she said about the lips.
Well, she was saying preventative too. Like,
that's right.
Before you get the wrinkles, instead of trying to fix what has already been done, keep it from happening.
I'm just saying, when you're 25-year-old, I mean, that would be the last thing you should be worried about.
It was the last thing I was worried about at 25.
I mean,
but,
hey.
To each his own.
Exactly. I'm not here sitting judging. I'm just trying to understand the thought process behind a 25-year-old to starting that process. You know?
But when I was 25, like, it wasn't a big thing.
Okay.
I mean, now I feel like it's commonplace. And probably when I started getting Botox.
When was the first time? How did you pull the
about
trigger?
8 years ago. Molly told me I needed it.
Molly Sims?
Yes. We were out on the lake one day, and she goes, "I know what Dave could get you for your birthday." And I said, "What?" She goes, "You need to get these fixed."
And then she put it in your head.
No, I had already. That was kind of on my list, but it just helped me pull the trigger. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it used to be as commonplace now as it is now, where people would just go around talking about getting it. It was more of like a secret, like you wanted people to just think you naturally, you know, didn't have the wrinkles and the smooth skin and all that. And now it's like, I mean, everybody shares, which is great.
So now your conversation with other women is like, what type of Botox do you use?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it's not.
Yeah.
And
have
if
you tried
use.
filler? I'm thinking about it. What was your experience? What eye cream are y'all using now? Because I cannot get rid of this crepey skin.
Yeah.
Yes, those are the conversations of mid 40-year-old women.
I get it. Listen, I get it.
Do you, Carlos? Do you really get it? Really?
If you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not happy with it, you know, and then there is a way that you can improve the way you feel about yourself. Because like I said, you know, like I probably would have noticed you if you did or not, you know. I have not. I'm simple guy, you know. I expect with your age that you're gonna make wrinkle. That's it. That's the expectation. That's the way it is, Allison. But I get the part that, especially when somebody puts it in your head and say, "Oh, look at that! Hey, you know, did you notice that you have a very big back wrinkle?" And then you start looking at yourself in the mirror and say, "Wait a second, yes, I didn't notice that." And then the next day it's like, it's there. Then the next day it's like, still there.
Yeah,
and then
not
week
going
goes
away.
by. Yeah. It's like, now I think it's deeper. Now I think it's bigger. Now I think I got two more. And then I can understand that part.
And you know, the really interesting thing about when you get any of the neurotoxins like Botox is it usually takes about 2 weeks for full effect. So you wake up every morning, you're like,
still there.
Still there. I can still move my eyebrows. It has not kicked in yet.
So we got probably like less than a minute left, but I want you to walk me through that first time that you say, okay, you know what, let's do it. How many needles they put in there?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I usually get around the 30 units, like she was saying, but it's not 1 unit per needle.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe, but I mean, there are multiple pokes. So they take a pencil and they mark on your face where they're going to poke.
And then they start poking on the pencil marks.
Yes. And I get sweaty.
And you see the needle coming through your eye.
Oh, no, I don't see it. I just close my eyes.
Close your
I told you, I can't watch that.
Let me tell you, when I got my very first tattoo, I was like probably 18, 17, something like that in Venezuela. And the guy had just draw a little bit of a line in there, and I started to pass out. I kid you not. And I was in a place that you're not supposed to be passing out. You know what I mean? And that was a little bit embarrassing.
So that ruined you.
That's how that's how I am with needles.
So did you have the fear before that, or did
I
that make
think
it worse?
I think that moment was like, because I did had an incident when I felt like my legs were shaking and I was starting to sweat on my hands. When they're starting to pull blood out of my hand, out of my arm.
Drawing blood.
Yeah, correct. And I was like, well, maybe this is just one episode. Maybe this is I didn't eat well or whatever. But then when you get the tattoo and you see the needle and you start feeling lightheaded, and you hear the guy, zzz, and you just imagine the needle going through your skin. That lightheaded was just went like, and yeah, I think I passed out in that table, which wasn't a good experience.
So did you ever get the tattoo finished?
I did. Yeah, I suck it up. I didn't. I got more than one, but.
Well, I think Lindsey has a very calming demeanor, and if you ever decide to try a little cosmetic aesthetic work, she would be a great one to call.
I'm sorry, there was another incident too. When Elise was pregnant and they had to put the epidural on her back.
In her back.
The nurse told me to hold her because...
Did you pass out on her?
Yeah.
Carlos! Remind me to never take you with me in an emergency situation.
I gave away my pregnant wife to the nurse and said, here you go, I can't do this, I'm about to pass out. Now, in my defense, I was able to see firsthand the whole C-section. So I had no problem with cuts, I had no problem with knife, I have no problem with blood or anything goring like that.
Just a needle.
Just a needle. Anyway, that's a lot of information. Now you know me. Now you know how to get at me.
Now we know.
Anyway, that's it.
That's it.
30 minutes on the nose. See you next week.
Bye.